and welcome to It's Coffee Time with your host, Gary Delansky. Today, I would like to dedicate an episode talking about Ray Bradbury. Now, as everybody in the science fiction community knows, Mr. Bradbury passed away this year, and I just wanted to kind of spend an afternoon talking a little bit about him and his background, and I got some covers to show everyone today. Anyways, Mr. Bradbury was born in 1920 in Waukegan, Illinois. His family led kind of a nomadic existence for a while. They migrated between Waukegan and Tucson, Arizona, Los Angeles, and Hollywood, California. And his father was working for a power company as a lineman, and but he wasn't making much money until he finally found a job for $14 a week. And that meant that the family would be able to live in Tucson or California, and Bradbury loved it. He liked to roller skate around Hollywood, getting autographs from celebrities and some pictures with them, and that was his favorite activity. He never had a driver's license. He roller skated or rode his bike, and I'll show you a little later. I got a picture of him on his bike as a young man, but he never had a driver's license. And of course, in California, they have those massive highways, so I'm sure there for a while, I'm sure he took a cab once in a while. Early in his life, Ray Bradbury was into magic and comics and comic strips, and of course he listened to the radio. He loved the radio, and but he developed a passion for books and like the books of L. Frank Baum and Edgar Allan Poe. But he also enjoyed the Edgar Rice Burroughs books. The Martian Tales, most of all. In fact, he read Warlord of Mars, and immediately he wrote a sequel, his own sequel to it. And later he remarked that it was a great way for someone to start their writing career, writing basically fan fiction. Now today you have Harry Potter, and there's a website out there called Pottermore, so that the Potter fans can get on the web and create their own fan fiction, and it's actually becoming a new art form on the internet. So I'm sure if Ray Bradbury had been born in this area or this time period, he probably would have done the same thing for Edgar Rice Burroughs. He probably would have preferred to have, or he would probably have written some fan fiction. So, but yeah, Edgar Rice Burroughs, Tarzan, he really loved these books. And once again, this one's Gods of Mars, Princess of Mars, and Warlord of Mars, and just about everything that he ever places where he lived, events that have happened, conversations, they've all come from the real life, and he regurgitated that in the form of fiction, and that was one of his most wonderful abilities, was to take everyday situations and just condense them into an imaginative way. And I think that's probably what's going to be missed about his stories. So anyways, I think we're going to take a break here, and when we return, I'll talk a little bit more about Ray Bradbury and show you some covers. So stick around. Hello and welcome back. So anyways, Ray Bradbury graduated from high school in 1938, and he joined what was called the Los Angeles Science Fiction League, and that's where he met Lee Brackett and Robert A. Heinlein. And with Robert A. Heinlein's help, soon after that he made his first sale, his first professional sale, to a West Coast literary magazine called Script. And he also published his stories in pulp magazines like Weird Tales, Astounding Science Fiction, which is now called Analog. I think what we're going to do is show some cover art now, and I wanted to start off by talking a little bit about the Martian Chronicles. This is a Martian Chronicles cover. It's got a nice picture of Ray on it. You got Mars in the background, and the little streak here is a rocket ship. And you got a little scene here going on in the background. And this was one of the first copies of Martian Chronicles that I found. I like this cover. This is one of my favorites. I like the panoramic cover that wraps around the book, and the two figures there are nice. And of course, I love this. This is a really great acquisition. It's a Martian Chronicles hardcover edition, and that's a really nice cover. He was able to come up with Fahrenheit 451, which he wrote in the basement of a college, and he would go to the library, and downstairs they would have these banks of typewriters where he could pay 10 cents, I think 10 cents a half hour or something like that. So he'd get a bag of dimes and just sit there and just type out his stories, and that's how the Fahrenheit 451 was written. He'd type a little bit, go do research, and type, and he always said, the one thing that he always said was that he did not believe in universities and colleges. He said that libraries raised him. And so Ray Bradbury felt that he was raised or educated by libraries, and libraries became very important to him right off. Right from when he got his first library card, he started spending 2 or 3 days, 3 or 4 days at a week in a library, and later he was presented with a doctorate from Woodbury College. But yeah, he always said that he didn't really believe in colleges or universities. So next up we have Bradbury's 451 again. This is another good cover, a little more ominous, and this is one of my favorites. I think I like the idea of the person who's made of book paper he's burning. And that's kind of a very ominous thing, or ominous. And this is one of my favorite collections of his. It's another it's like Martian Chronicles. It was kind of put together by or threaded together with new texts and but it's a short story collection, and he wrote a narrative throughout the book to tie them all together, and this is one of those editions I really like. The panoramic cover goes all the way around, yeah, Ray Bradbury was a great writer, and this is one of my favorites. I've read The Illustrated Man. The stories, I've got it on audio. I've been listening to the audio, and And so anyways, our last cover is a hardcover edition of The Illustrated Man. And I said later I would have a picture. That's Mr. Bradbury right there on his bike, riding along. So anyways, I think that pretty much wraps up for our episode for this month.